Hi, I'm Betty Vanden Bosch, Associate Dean of External Relations at the Weatherhead School of Management. I'd like to welcome you to our program, and I'd like to tell you a little bit about some of the things that we have available to help you get to where you want to end up as a consequence of coming here. We treat our students as partners, and one of the most important aspects of that partnership is your relationship with the Career Management Center. In order to find the best career for you, you need to hone your resume writing and interviewing skills. You also need to learn how to and then research organizations, and you have to develop a network. We're here to help you with all those aspects of finding a career, but we can't do it alone. We're not going to do it for you. We're going to work with you as partners. Please make sure that you get in touch with the Career Management Center to help you craft the best career plan for you. This afternoon, you'll be finding out all sorts of things that the Career Management Center does and has available to help you with this. Now, it might seem a bit early, but there is no question that the end result of your education here ought to be a terrific career, and we're here to help you do it. Have fun.
The Career Services Office helped me to plan a whole career rather than just focusing on the next thing that you're doing.
Overall, I had such a great experience with the Career Services within itself, from the moment I got to Weatherhead to the moment when I left.
I thought it was really great because it gave me the opportunity to have someone who knew what they were doing review my resume.
You've got to push, and show them what you can offer them, and that's kind of what I did.
I encourage you to meet as many people as possible. People want to help. People want to, help you be successful.
It was an absolute help in my job search. One of the biggest things that I did was informational interviews. Just realizing that that there's this whole other process out there. That there's the formal interviewing process. That a lot of that is funneled through Career Services, but there's this informational interview process that's a lot of your own initiative. It's a really unique situation where the pressure is really not on you. You've come basically just to ask them, what is it that you do? And how did you get where you are? Pretty simple questions. And I found that they never really turned it around and started grilling me like a real interview would be. And yet, by the end of the informational interview, they were trying to think of places that they could put me in their organization, or they were trying to think of other friends that they knew within their organization that were perhaps even looking for somebody. Or even if they didn't know if they were looking for somebody, just somewhere where they thought I might fit, and then they'd set something else up for me. I think this is sort of the hidden secret to finding a job. You get in through the back door. You definitely have to start early, because one thing that I learned about informational interviews is that they are fairly open-ended. They take a while. It probably takes 3 or 4 times, to meet with this person. The first person you talk to probably doesn't have a job for you, but they'll know somebody who knows somebody. And so it's going to take, a couple of months probably to follow one string out. Realize also that you have a lot of people around you, your fellow classmates as well as your professors, who have a lot of contacts. So I think early on in the semester, what you need to do is figure out where people were in the past, what kinds of things they've done. Businesses and recruiters really are looking for somebody who can say, I want to do this and I want to be this position and I know that's what I want because I've talked to a bunch of people in your company. I know that that's the interesting thing for me, as opposed to somebody who just kind of approaches a recruiter saying, well, I really kind of want to be in banking, I don't really know where, but I think if you do the informational interviews early on, you're gonna stand a much better chance when it comes towards the end of the semester, narrowing down your choices, knowing exactly what you want to do, looking much more informed to the recruiters. And really, that's another way to kind of stand out, is to be the informed candidate, as opposed to, we're all kind of got the credentials, but who's done their homework on this company. And doing your homework is really, the way I did it was through informational interviews.
I think it's an exceptional opportunity to be here at National City in their private client group as an intern. I've been afforded the opportunity to have meetings with senior managers within the group and have learned a tremendous amount from them. But also had the opportunity to be proactive and meet some other people in other lines of businesses. Definitely be open and willing to meet people that you otherwise might not meet, and get to know people from different backgrounds. People have lots of different experiences, and I think everyone loves to be helpful, and everyone has connections to other people. So I would definitely say that would be the first place to start. The second thing I would probably say is that it's important to follow up. I think that's the key to any relationship. Don't be too aggressive, but just make sure you follow up. Say, it was a pleasure meeting you. You suggested that I get in touch with this person. Can you, suggest to me other ways that I can get in contact with them, maybe through an email or through a phone number. Something that I found particularly helpful is my service on nonprofit boards and being involved in community service in general. It's an opportunity to gain skills, but it's also an opportunity to meet people from different walks of life. And I think it's important to always tell your story to people. Tell people what you really want to do, what you're interested in, and people will help you drive you down that path to your goal. I found that people here at National City have been extremely helpful in helping me to craft my career, but also give me skills that will help me be successful in the future.
How I became better prepared was through the various mock interviewing skills that they had. I've gone through numerous mock interviews with the Career Services Department. The great thing about the mock interview process was the fact that each time I was interviewed, it was taped, and I could go back and look at what I did right and what I did wrong, and some things I would later like to work on to better improve, to more improve my actual interview process itself and my interviewing skills. As I watched my interview tapes from the very beginning when I first came to Weatherhead as an accelerated student till the end when I graduated, and how my speech pattern slowed down, it was amazing. It was amazing. I felt better prepared. I felt that I presented myself so much better, and overall I thought that Weatherhead initially prepared me for what I needed to do in order for me to secure the job that I currently have at this point.
The most valuable experience I had with the career staff is meeting with Regina Olbinski. She took my resume and basically ripped it to shreds and helped us really look at why I hadn't been getting interviews and calls from prospective employers. And ever since we had that meeting, employers started calling. I started getting a lot more interviews and started to see a lot more results from my applications.
I've been in one industry my whole career, and I actually hired a professional company to rewrite my resume so that I can actually find a job within that same sector. With little luck, I couldn't find a job. Therefore, I decided to go to school here in Cleveland and network for a couple of years. I worked with Regina, and she helped me with my resume. She reworked it and made it, much more useful to find a job in a different sector.
I thought it was really great because it gave me the opportunity to have someone who knew what they were doing review my resume, and from that we were actually able to extrapolate different experiences I had had and turn them into a marketing background where maybe it wouldn't have been as evident before.
Oh, the best experience I had with the career service staff was their help on my resume. They revised my resume so I was marketable not only just in that industry, but several other industries. So they did a great job and made a lot of changes. I was kind of surprised at all the changes they made, but it's been great. And when I got through with my resume, I look back and it's like, I agree with all the changes that they did make, and it's helped me ever since.
Going through resumes is I'm personally learning myself that you need something that stands out, and she gave me key pieces of information that made me feel special and that made me feel that this is what makes Adrian, and this is what's going to land Adrian the job. And so through that, I felt it was very instrumental for me working with the Career Services Department as far as my resume building skills were concerned.
I would encourage everyone to get involved in student organizations and student clubs. It's a way to network with people outside of Weatherhead.
The Health Sciences Club brought in a panel of people who were working in the field, brought them in to talk to us just about how they had gotten to where they were. And I took that opportunity afterwards to approach probably 3 or 4 of these people and just ask them simply, could I have an informational interview? Could I eat lunch with them at some point just to discuss that? And as it turns out, these people had come here because they're looking for people. So they ended up eating, all of them agreed to have lunch with me, and each of those turned into, follow-on opportunities to talk about potential jobs. The finance club brought in a CFO of Parker Hannifin, and at that point I had the chance to talk with this gentleman extensively. He wasn't a Weatherhead alumni, but he was, very interested in helping people who were in school, and he actually set me up with plant tours at probably 3 of their different plants, so I got to walk around and meet all sorts of managers there, and he set me up with some interviews, and he had me out to his executive suite for lunch and everything. It was a great experience, and there are a lot of these opportunities throughout the year.
I actually was not going to go to the information session, but I did hear from Regina, and she had mentioned, you might want to get out there. This is a big name company that'll look good on your resume for full-time work after you graduate. So that was one reason why she had said to get into this session. The other reason why I also went was a colleague of mine, Lynette, had said, you might want to get to see this company and see what they have to offer. So that's what brought me in the door. And then Jeff Gross and Jeff Binchek were there from American Greetings, and they gave a really nice presentation about what they do and what the company does. And Jeff Binchek specifically had said what his group in business intelligence does. And that being a numbers related and analytical type position was a good match for me. So I actually talked to him afterward, and just to kind of network with him and be, I was persistent. Just to let them know who I was and that I was going to drop off my resume. It was somewhat easy for me to get an interview with. After this information session, they actually had contacted me about a week later, and they wanted to set up an interview. So I did meet with them. I met with about 5 people and had what I thought was a nice interview. And I came back to Case and talked to Regina to get some ideas in terms of if I were to get a second callback, how I can best go about, selling myself. And they had given me some good feedback, and I proceeded to have a second round of interviews, which ultimately led to a job, which it was a very good experience for me.
At the time, I thought American Greens was nothing more than a green card company, but since career development had such extensive promotion, I decided to attend. I was surprised to find out that the internship positions that they were offering were very similar to what I was looking for. And it wasn't just a straight green card company. There was a lot of analysis, just for the internship that I was looking for. It was a perfect fit. A few days before my first interview at American Greens, I talked to a few of the Weatherhead students who had interned the prior year at AG, and I asked, what exactly is American Greens looking for in terms of, for their interns? And they all said, stress your analytical skills. It was just a great fit for me because before I started my MBA at Weatherhead, I had done a lot of similar work, which was exactly what AG was looking for. So I was able to prove to American Greens that I was a good match for their company.
I did go online and apply to I think 3 positions here at American Greetings. Then I began my networking adventure. I contacted an alumni who worked for American Greetings. He was actually my mentor, who I obtained my first year at Weatherhead. Contacted him, kind of got some insight on the company. I also contacted 2 classmates of mine who had already gotten a job offer, Ed Batchtuber and Allison Shields. Contacted them, and I also contacted another student who interned for American Greetings the year before. So contacted all those people, got some insight in the company, got some feedback on kind of what they were looking for and how I could be a fit, and put all those together, landed the first interview, contacted the people again, and got more insights about how I could essentially land the position, and then had a second interview, and then within a week I got a job offer.